So a bag contains 5 red and 7 blue identical cards. Find the probability without replacement of finding 2 cards which are red followed by blue or of the same color, that is B. So when we are solving this one, we make a tree diagram. So the tree diagram has got branches. So the branches are representing the possible outcomes. So on the first pick, the person is going to either pick a red card that is here or a blue card. And in the first place, in the first case, we have got 5 red and 7 blue. So the total number of cards is 7 plus 5, which is 12. So that's our total possible outcome, 12, which is the denominator. So for the probability of picking a red card on the first pick will be 5 out of the 12. Will be 5 out of the 12. And then of picking a blue card on the first pick will be 7 out of the total 12. And then it is said without what? Replacement. That means when a card is taken out, it is not put back. So after the first pick, assuming you have picked a red one, you put it aside. So the total number of cards is no longer 12, but is now 11. And assuming that you picked a red card on the first, so the number of red cards will reduce to 4, but the number of blue cards will remain what? 7. So it will now be 4 over 11 for red and 7 over 11 for blue, because it is without replacement. Some other cases are with replacement, the totals do not change. But if it is without replacement, the totals change. The same case, assuming we picked a blue in the first pick, so in the second pick, the number of red cards will not change, they will remain 5. But the number of blue cards will change because there will now be 6. And the total will also change, it will now be 11. Right, there's this other thing that I want you to know about probability. The branches are complementary. That means they add up to 1. If you say 5 over 12 plus 7 over 12, you will get 12 over 12, which is equal to 1. Again, if you do it here, 4 over 11 plus 7 over 11, 4 plus 7, you get 11 over 11, which is also equal to a 1. That's how you check if your branches are correct. 5 over 11 plus 6 over 11 here. 5 plus 6 is 11. So 11 over 11 is also equal to a 1. So once all the branches are complementary like this, then your diagram is correct. And then when you are calculating probabilities up the branches, you multiply. Up the branches, you multiply. Let me write this fact. So up the branches, you multiply, and across or down, across the branches, you add. Isn't it we were adding? So across, let me have a correct spelling here. Across the branches, you add. So in this case, we want the probability of red followed by blue. So red followed by blue is here. Red followed by blue. So I'm gonna put the outcomes here. This is red followed by blue, which is actually equal to the first probability is 5 over 12. Am I right? The red one is 5 over 12. And then times, because we are going up the branch. And then the blue one is 7 over 11. 7 over 11. Are you following with me? right? And then this will be equal to, what is 7 times 5? That's 35. And then 11 times 12, 1 plus 2, 3, that's 132, right? So it will be 35 over 132. Probability of red followed by blue. Red followed by blue. There is no other case where we have red followed by blue. Do you see that? It's only here, red followed by blue. And we take this probability times that probability because we are going up the branches. So that means our answer here will be equal to 35 over 132. You know how to multiply fractions. I'm assuming you know that. And then of the same color, be of the same color. This one is of the same color. It's red, red, isn't it? There's red, red. So that will be equal to 5 over 12. That will be equal to 5 over 12 times this one. This one is what? 4 over 11. Red, red, of the same color, red, red. We are just following an experiment and we are applying our maths. Do you see? It's simple, isn't it? So I come back here, 11 times 12 again, this should give me 132. And then 5 times 4, this should give me 20. You can also simplify it. I'll ask you to simplify that fraction and see what you get, right? And then also, same color is also here. Do you see blue and blue? It's also same color, isn't it? Blue and blue. That is equal to 7 over 12. Let me just insert a fraction here, a blank one. That's equal to 7 over 12. 7 over 12 times the other blue, which is what? 6 over 11. 6 over 11. Right. Can we follow? And then when we are multiplying fractions, we multiply the numerators on their own. So our denominator again is 132 and our numerator is 42. Right. And then it can also be simplified. It can also be simplified to a simpler one. So I'm going back here now of the same color. So this answer will be equal to, we take 20 over 32. This one, red, red, it's 20 over 32, 20 over 132, right? And then the next one, we say plus. When we go across like this, when we are picking from the across, we add. So it's plus what? Plus 42 over 132, plus 42 over 132, 42 over 132. And then we add, this should be equal to, what is 20 plus 42? What is 20 plus 42?
62.
62.
62. And then we can also simplify this to a simple probability. We find the HCF of 62 and 132 and we get our simpler probabilities. So the important aspects of this question was, you need to take note of without replacement, and you need to know what to do when you go up the branches and what you do as you go across the branches. I hope you understood clearly and everything is in order. All right, yeah, tell me, what did you learn today, Sister Kudze? Quick.
I've learned the probability runs from 0 to 1. And when calculating probability, we make a tree diagram. Then up the branches you multiply, and across the branches you add. Yeah,
Thank you
basically.
very much. And then Sister Hannah Hope Makura. Quick. We have 2 minutes.
Uh, I learned that a probability question can just change, especially if we have been doing without replacement, and it can also change when it is with the replacement.
Okay.
And I learned that we can only get the answers if we actually experiment the question. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That was very nice of you. We meet again next week.